Growing up, I was told that cooking rice on the stove was a troublesome ordeal that required a fair amount of time and attention, often resulted in rice burnt to the bottom of the pan, and had a high risk of boiling over. Fortunately, there were these things called rice cookers where you could simply pour in some rice, add some water, flip a switch and walk away until it finished cooking with a satisfying click. I too was lulled into the false sense of convenience brought about by my handy-dandy rice cooker. After several years of use, I started to honestly evaluate my usage and found several problems along with a mounting concern. First of all, rice did still stick to the bottom of the pan, which required soaking and a good amount of scrubbing to clean. This had to be done by hand because your normal household dishwasher simply couldn't handle how stuck that bottom layer of rice always was. In addition, while the process seemed easy enough, it took a lot of time and required a decent amount of planning if I actually wanted to eat food by a certain time. Generally, cooking 1 cup of dry rice took 30 to 40 minutes, which is a lot of time and takes away some from the convenience. These were relatively minor concerns that I had simply grown used to, but then there was the pan itself. My rice cooker, like most rice cookers, had a containment vessel made of aluminum, which is highly toxic to humans if consumed. On top of that, it was coated with a non-stick coating which was not merely failing to do its job but was very visibly coming off slowly. That was concerning, as I didn't have a good idea as to when it was coming off. Was it coming off in the rice and being eaten by me? Or was it only coming off during the cleanup afterwards? With no way to really know, the only safe way to proceed was clearly to stop using the rice cooker if I wanted to confirm I wasn't poisoning my rice. The problem, of course, is that I still wanted to eat rice. Searching online, I initially found it quite difficult to find a rice cooker with a stainless steel container that might not be trying to kill you. Eventually I did find one, and it wasn't overly expensive, but I still had one big problem. It would take about a week for that new rice cooker to make it to me, but I still was getting hungry every day and wanted to make some rice to go along with one of my meals. I turned to the internet again, but this time with a different question: how does one make stovetop rice properly? Turns out it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. The key is to have the right ratio of water to rice. Many bags of rice will have their little chart on the back telling you that to cook 1 cup of dry rice you need 1.5 cups of water, and that just happens to be wrong. In reality, for most types of rice you actually want 2 cups of water for every 1 cup of dry rice if you want nothing to burn to the bottom of your pan. In addition, the cooking process is actually pretty easy. Simply put the water into a pan, bring it to a boil, put in the rice, give it a quick stir, and then simmer with the lid on for 18 minutes. The key is not to lift the lid to check on things. If you have a pan with a glass lid so you can see what is happening while the lid is still on, I find that works great. Now I simply set a timer on my phone and walk away, either preparing the main food for my meal or doing something else, and I come back to perfectly cooked rice with nothing stuck to the bottom of the pan. After the second time I did this, to confirm it wasn't just a fluke, the big realization finally hit me: rice cookers are a scam targeting ignorant people. Just think about it. Every time I was using the rice cooker I had to wait 50 to 100% longer for the rice to be complete. In addition, I always had a big cleanup on my hands to get that layer of burnt rice off the pan so I could use it again. Now when I cook rice, my pan just needs a quick rinse and it's ready to be used again. And cooking with my stainless steel pan, there's absolutely no concern of aluminum poisoning or dealing with a flaky non-stick coating. Granted, that last problem is solvable by purchasing a rice cooker with a stainless steel insert, but they can be a little challenging to find. The biggest thing for me is all the time I get back from both the shorter cook time and quicker cleaning process. To think after all these years I could have had both a better experience and more free time without this extra appliance taking up precious countertop real estate is wild. I'm now convinced that rice cookers only have a market because consumers don't know how easy it can be to cook rice on the stove, which is largely a result of poor instructions on the back of rice packages. In short, rice cookers are a scam, and I now wonder what other supposed time-saving appliances are really just wasting my time and providing the illusion of convenience without the actual substance.